Ah, shit. Here we go again. Well, whoever made it through all that, I appreciate you. So welcome to my Twink to Hero Unleash Mana Stacker guide. If you want an explanation on that name, see the notes section. And in the background here, you'll see me just flipping through the different loadouts of the POB. You don't really need to pay close attention to that. I'll have the important information popping up in your face. And first of all, before anything else, please use timestamps to skip to the content that you want to watch. I do try to be concise, but there is a lot of information to go over. So it's a constant battle for me on deciding what to include in the video and what not to include. So this is a stacking build. For those that don't know, stacking is a particularly famous concept in PoE where we acquire a lot of one stat and get a lot of side benefits from that. In this PoB, there are three main types of stacking: mana, power charges, and lightning resistance. The power charge and lightning resistance stacking are separate loadouts, and a bit later I will go over some of the items that enable each of these. Another important point of the build is this is an Unleash build. We have a cool new Bloodline Ascendancy notable that gives +3 max unleashes and 5% more damage per previous unleash. So grabbing most sources of unleash, +1 unleash, we can get to +8, and this enables some really nice burst damage. And the last important point for the build is this is an archmage build, which is particularly fun because you can plug in any spell in the game and test it out. Most of our base damage comes from archmage support. So if you like some spells mechanics over another, once you hit a certain damage breakpoint, it's probably worth using that spell just for the feel. And you might have already seen both arc spell and ball lightning spell being used. I've also tried out Lightning Conduit of the Heavens. All three of them have their own strong points, and there's a bunch of other skills I want to try and I may or may not get to, we'll see. So next I'm going to go over stuff that's either new this league or it's less known in my opinion. So first is Twink items. Rushing jewel slots and using grand spectrums for Twink leveling. I don't think people do this enough. Sometimes they're expensive, but they're not too bad this league for the good leveling ones. So if you can get 3 elemental damage grand spectrums socketed early on, that's 135% increased elemental damage. Pretty ridiculous. And then if you do 3 elemental resistance spectrums, that is 63% to all elemental res, which pretty much solves your elemental resistances for the entire campaign. And you can mix and match these however you want. 2 LA damage, 1 elemental resistance, etc., etc. Super flexible for leveling. And there's other ones too. There's one that gives crit chance, Stern's charge, frenzy charge. There's a bunch of them. So definitely worth using for leveling. And I think I bought the elemental resistance ones for like 5C a pop this league. Another really strong Twink item is the Foxshade chestplate. So this one gives, you have to be full life, which pretty much always happens in the campaign, but it gives you 1k evasion, 30% movement speed, yep. And then enemies hitting you, their damage is unlucky. So it's pretty ridiculous. And the last tip I have for the Twink leveling is rushing to the scion wheel, especially if you're going pretty close to it already, and using an unnatural instinct plus light of meaning combo. And light of meaning would correspond to like probably your damage type, or maybe like all attributes or something. But this combo is used commonly in endgame builds, and if you're using it in early game, it's even bigger damage boost. In my POB here, you can see that it's a 32% damage increase. If we rush straight there, then it's actually going to be a 55% damage increase. Alright, next I'll go over some general strong points of the build that already existed in the game. First is we stack a lot of maximum mana as max ES. We get this through the hierophant node, ascendancy notable, mind spiral helmet, clarity watcher's eye, and militant faith notables. And there's other ways to get this too. You can get it on a Megalomaniac and the Cloak of Defiance Foulborn. So it's a really nice way to get base HP through mana. And the next one is Megalomaniacs. There's so many notables on these things, and they're super powerful. One particular interaction I really like to use is capping block through Megalomaniacs. Sometimes it's really hard to get attack or spell block depending on where you are in the tree, and there's a few nodes that you can get through the Megalos where you only need like 4 of them, and you can cap block through that. So the nodes I'm talking about are Enduring Ward and Powerful Ward. Each of them grants 10% block / spell block respectively. And all you need to do to get that is you need to either have maximum endurance or maximum power charges. And they also grant endurance or power charges when you block. So it's a way to get charge generation as well. And a common thing I will do is I will swap out my Megalomaniacs depending on the content I'm doing. While I'm mapping, I prefer to have 75 attack block, and when I'm bossing, I prefer to have 75 spell block, so I can swap those out accordingly. Next, I will cover stuff that is new for this patch. So it's going to be mostly Foulborn uniques and an uulgraft ability. So first thing is void batteries, staple for power charge stacking, and now you can get one with 3% increased AoE per power charge. And we have 13 power charges, so that is 39% increased AoE. And then Malachai's Loop, another staple, and this one is really insane. You can get 4% chance to suppress spell damage per power charge, So that's 42%. You are losing out on the damage percent, so it is a pretty big damage loss, but this is like one of the strongest, if not the easiest and best way to get suppressed in the game for power charge stackers. And all you need to be almost capped in quotes, is a suppress wheel plus the lucky mastery, and it'll get you to about 93%. So yeah, pretty ridiculous for soft core. I opted not to use it because I wanted the extra damage, but if you want the extra defense, it's really, really good. Then there's Foulborn, Romira's Banquet, +1 power charge rings, and they have mana and crit molt as well. Usually +1 power charge rings are insanely expensive, but these ones you can get for like 1 chaos, and you can even get some pretty decent corrupted implicits for them. And then there's the Foulborn, the Blue Dream Jewel. This one you can get 3% crit molt per power charge, and I think you can get that on the Blue Nightmare as well. So 39% crit molt for us, very strong. And the last thing is the Hardening uulgraft with the ability Tender Embrace. This is super easy endurance charge generation for low life builds. Pretty much have 100% uptime on max endurance charges because of that. It's not pretty much, it is 100% uptime. It's just at the beginning of the map it does take a few seconds to get to your full charges depending on how many you have. So yeah, that covers the new stuff. Alright, it's POB time. This POB is extremely detailed with many different loadouts, and the note section has a ton of information in it, and it has transcripts for pretty much everything I wanted to say. So if you want more information, please check out the note section of the POB. I tried to include a loadout every time there were notable gear or skill gem changes, so it should be really easy to follow for everyone as long as you have some currency to buy the gear. And there are definitely some overly expensive pieces in here that you do not need. It's all optional leveling stuff, so don't feel pigeonholed into getting every piece of gear for these loadouts. You can actually just league start mana stacker with just full like random gear you find off the ground and rares. It's not going to be super smooth, but it's totally doable, and it's not one of the worst league starters you could do. Next, I'm going to go over bridges. These are optional loadouts which you can use to bridge between the major changes loadouts. As you can see on the screen right there, there's usually going to be a lot of respeccing, a lot of item changes, or possibly even both. But yeah, there's 2 bridges. Bridge 1 is to transition from end of campaign / early maps into endgame mapping and some bosses, and then you'll move on to the power charge stack POB, and bridge 2 is used between the power charge stack and the mana / lightning res stack loadouts. If you have enough currency and levels, I recommend just going straight to the loadout that you can afford, but do check out the notes in the POB for more details on each loadout. Alright, that's everything I'm going to cover in this video. If I missed anything for POB, any mechanics you wanted to know about, etc., then leave a comment on my video or join my Discord. I can help you one-on-one. And then for anyone that wants to see the full gameplay clips, I'm going to include some of them after this last outro section or whatever. So feel free to skip over to that with the timestamps, or maybe you already have, but I will also include a few links to live streams, so like unedited footage, and I'll put those in the video description. But yeah, this video took really long to make, so if you enjoyed it, I'm happy. If you didn't enjoy it, let me know, and let me know what's wrong and stuff. Otherwise, thanks as always for watching, and guess stay tuned for the next one.
Stand still.
Pain will be returned tenfold. Space aligns. Behold my collection.
I will have what I want. This will not be an escape. Scurry! Scurry! A cascade of pain! Stand still! Why?
Resistance will be punished. Time contorts. Scurry, scurry.
My irritation is growing. A cascade of pain. Death will not be an escape. Scurry, scurry. That's how.
Stop resisting. Reality bends. Punishment inescapable.
Arrogant toy! A cascade of pain! Death will not be an escape! Scurry! Scurry! Stand still.
I've been hurt. The living toy.
Gone, foul enemy!
Struggle or strangle. Temporal tears.
For Rayclast!
Time bends to my will. Time bends to my will. Time bends to my will. Shadow, rise and fight. Temporal tears. Time bends bends to my will. Shadow, rise and fight. Temporal tears. Time bends to my will.
This way, exile.
Time bends to my will. Temporal tears. Temporal tears. Time bends to my will.
I've got some wealth for you.
Temporal tears. Temporal tears.
This way, exile. Not the fruit, just
Die in awe! The touch of God!
Your recklessness will not go unpunished. This is your final warning. Leave, or... You force my hand again, little mouse. So be it. You've chosen to side with chaos. This is my world, and you shall obey my order. Embraced by misery. Gaze into the abyss. Gaze into the abyss. Gaze into the abyss. Insubstantial.
He's recovering. We need to find a way back quickly.
I must have time to gather my will.
Behold the face of your unmaking!
Father, it's me. Let me help you.
The horror must be stopped. Obstacles destroyed! Insignificant!
He's recovering. We need to find a way back quickly.
These memories are mine. I cannot lose them.
They lied to you, Father. I'm your true memory.
To save the future, the past must be sacrificed. Ultimate chaos. Irrelevant!